And what we're experiencing is our true identity pushing back against all those labels, definitions, and categorizations that other people have laid upon us. It's like being buried underneath a huge stack of blankets. We're smothering underneath all of them. What do you have to do? You have to start tossing off all those blankets. But first you have to know they're even on you. Hi everybody, thanks for joining me on the Light Journal podcast. I'm Jamie Perez. Have you ever wondered why it is it's so hard to just simply think? I was thinking about it last night, and it occurred to me how often I use distractions as a way to avoid thinking. Distractions are a topic I've talked about in another video, but it can be something as simple as turning on the music or reading a book. It could be exercising. It can be, any number of things, none of which are wrong. There's nothing wrong with any of those things, but it's the idea that we're avoiding thinking. And I wondered, why do we avoid thinking? What is it about our thinking that threatens us? And I started realizing that it's because most of the time we don't think at all. Instead of thinking ourselves, we're just absorbing what everybody else tells us about ourselves. We are letting other people tell us who we are, what we are. We're letting other people define us. That's why we use so many labels all the time, because labeling is a way to not acknowledge another person as who and what they are, but just as a category. Categories are much easier to dismiss than an individual person. But the problem is we also label ourselves. And the labels are often labels that somebody else chose for us. They said we are their son or their daughter. They said we are of this religion or that religion. They said we are of this nation or that nation. They said we are of this education or economic status. They tell us who our friends and enemies are. They tell us our relationship to the rest of the world. Everybody around us is defining who we are and how we're supposed to act and who we're supposed to be. And so instead of actually thinking, we just allow that label, that series of definitions to become our identity. And that breaks down when we actually allow ourselves to think. And that causes such a cognitive dissonance, which refers to when we're kind of at odds with ourself. That's kind of what that means. That we feel really uncomfortable and antsy, restless even, because we know something's not right, but we don't know what it is and we don't know how to fix it. And what we're experiencing is our true identity pushing back against all those labels, definitions, and categorizations that other people have laid upon us. It's like being buried underneath a huge stack of blankets. We're smothering underneath all of them. What do you have to do? You have to start tossing off all those blankets. But first you have to know they're even on you. You have to realize that you're being smothered. The true you is being smothered. You're being smothered by politics. That's telling you you're on this side or that side. You're being smothered by identification, that you're either for us or against us. You're being smothered by religious ideologies. You're either right or you're wrong. You're being smothered. You don't recognize it, but at some level, your mind recognizes it, and it's what's trying to fight back. It's what's trying to throw off all those covers that other people have thrown on us. We're being smothered with propaganda that tells us what to think, how to think, when to think. We're being smothered by education that does anything but educate. It doesn't teach us how to think. Education should be teaching us how to think, and we don't know how to think. We know how to spit back facts. We know it has past tests. We know how to say what other people say we're supposed to say. But do we know how to process those things ourselves and recognize the errors, the biases? It's time for us to start thinking again, but to do that, we have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable with ourselves. We have to be comfortable with letting those thoughts back into our brains that come from our higher self, that come from our spirit guides, that come from our ancestors. They're talking to us all the time. They're telling us that all these false dichotomies, all these us versus them, right versus wrong, up versus down, all these things are illusions that are designed to stifle our ability to think critically, to process things in a holistic way. We've been programmed and conditioned to think in a certain way because that serves the needs of those in power. But it's time for us to take back our own power, our own ability to think. When you feel those uncomfortable thoughts, don't push them away. Don't turn the music up louder. Don't turn to your phone and start scrolling through a bunch of reels and Instagrams and TikToks. Don't grab a book and start reading. Settle into a chair and let those thoughts come. Not even just let them come, invite them in. Ask them if they're your spirit guides or ancestors. Ask them if they're the elementals. Ask them if they're angels. Ask them if they're light beings. Discover who's trying to talk to you and let them talk to you. You don't have to accept what they have to say. You don't have to believe anything they have to say, but listen to them. Give them a fair shake. Give them an opportunity to show you an alternative way of thinking, feeling, and being. And if those thoughts do anything except uplift you, encourage you, incentivize you, add to your creativity and ingenuity, teach you things that you didn't know, then you're not listening to them at all. You're listening to the echoes of all those voices that have been smothering you. Listen. Your higher self's trying to communicate with you. And if any of those voices tear you down, criticize you, judge you, treat you in any way other than with love, then know it's not your higher self. It's not your spirit guides. It's not your ancestors, because they know how hard this life is. They know how hard you're struggling. So they're never going to add to your burdens. They're going to lift your burdens. They're going to lift the covers that are smothering you. So if those voices ever add more blankets to you and bury you even deeper into that smothering darkness, then you're not listening to the right voices. You can ask them to leave. And you can tell them that is not who you are going to listen to. When you talk to your spirit guides, tell them you want to hear their voices. You want to hear the voice of your higher self. You want to hear the voice of light beings and spiritual guides and masters. You want to hear the voice of your ancestors. You want to hear the voices that teach you how to throw off your covers. They're smothering you in lies and deceits and darkness. And they will speak to you. But like I said, it may be uncomfortable to listen to them. You're so used to those smothering voices, those voices that keep you down, make you a victim and powerless, that tell you what you can't do. That when you hear what you can do, what you are, who you are, it makes you squirm a little bit. It makes you uncomfortable. But those are the voices that you want to listen to. Those are the voices that empower you to throw off the blankets. So that's the message I have for you today. Listen to your spirit guides. Recognize their voices are the voices that uplift you, that carry you, that support you, that teach you how to throw off the smothering blankets that have kept you suppressed for too long. Today, I'm serving as one of their voices. I'm encouraging you to take back your power, take back your intuition, your knowing, take back your ability to be aware of the awareness that is flowing in, through, and as you. I am speaking as their voice today, but only to remind you to listen to them. Only to remind you that you are not alone. You have never been alone. And you only feel like that because you've been smothered with the world's voices and the world's distractions for so long that you don't even know anybody else is there with you. But you're not alone. May the blessings of the divine voice, may the blessings of the divine companionship be yours in your awareness. Once again, blessings on your journey, everyone.